Hello, I'm Corinne Nyok-Chateau, speaking to you from Garrison, New York. I'd like to tell you a little bit about my documentary film, Safer in Silence. It's a story about my search to find the truth about my maternal family background. It's a story about secrets and hiding and intergenerational trauma. In fact, I was just in Warsaw, Poland this past March, finishing up the post-production of the film when the lockdown happened. And suddenly I had these two enormous problems. How am I going to finish the film? And how am I going to get out of Poland? And all through this, I had this eerie feeling of the parallel with my Polish grandmother, who 80 years before had been in Warsaw when the Germans invaded. And later, and this is in the film, I asked my grandmother, she was 90 years old at this point, living in Rio. I asked her, did you expect the war? Did you expect them to invade? And she said, no, we didn't expect it. They came of a sudden. We were not prepared. And then suddenly she had to figure out how she, her mother, and her daughter, how they were all going to get out of Poland. And from that moment on, her whole life changed, my mother's whole life changed, and the whole world changed, just as now we are dealing with our whole world changing with the coronavirus. The characters in my film, other than my mother and my grandmother, are all people I discovered along this journey. These are family members that I didn't know existed, who I had no idea about because my mother didn't talk about the past. I didn't even know about my Polish grandmother until I was 16 when she found us through a private detective. That was the beginning of my curiosity about where do I come from? My grandmother would tell me some stories and then my mother would completely deny it. So it was up to me to find out where is the truth in all of this. 95% of what you will see in this film was done in the moment, in one take. There's no special setups, no pre-planning, no lights, no special sound. It was all what I discovered in the moment. Most of the time I'm shooting, but when I'm in the film, as for instance when I was a little girl, it was my father, then later it was my husband, Brian Hickey, and for 2 days in Poland I had this wonderful Polish cameraman, Sławek Grunberg, follow me around. And then I was so blessed to have the brilliant Polish editor, Melania Fiedler. I really hope you will come to the Manhattan Film Festival next year, and I so look forward to having a conversation with you about my documentary film, Safer in Silence. In certain ways, my mother cared a lot. She cared very much that I was outdoors at least 2 hours every day. I was brought up on organic food. She didn't believe in doctors. She didn't believe in shots. She believed in fresh air in terms of my health and education. Yes, she cared. Except that if I could be with her, but she didn't really see me.
Why did you choose a film, the film genre, to tell your story?
I just always had this need to capture the moment. And so when it came to this idea of putting this story together, I thought, I have this footage. Why don't I let the people speak for themselves?
actually the last time I ever saw my grandmother. She was 94, and she revealed that the whole family had been Jewish. And I said to her, you know, my mother doesn't know any of this. And she said, she knows very well.